83 degrees, cool Monday afternoon. And delivering the game ball today, Mickey and Minnie, reminding everyone that Disneyland is the place to celebrate 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company beginning on January 27th. So Walt Disney Company, the Rose Bowl, the Coliseum, the Hollywood sign all came to be about the same time, 1922-23. Of course, this used to be played at Tournament Park. Then the game got too big, so they broke ground here in 1922 on the Rose Bowl. And 100 years ago, Penn State took a 6-day train ride from Happy Valley to play USC. Only got in because Cal turned the invitation down. Penn State had turned the invitation down the previous year. It was a different era for the Rose Bowl game, but the tradition began. It was a wild game. Penn State's team got stuck in traffic. They were an hour late. Gloomy Gus Henderson looked across at his counterpart, Hugo Besdick, and accused him of cheating, and then they almost got in a fight, and they sorted things out, and ended up 14-3 USC. We hope for a more orderly build-up, but a more entertaining game than that original one.
No doubt.
Years ago.
No doubt. Well, Utah has traveled well.
Ramstruck giving you a look at the century of history at the Rose Bowl. 57,000 was the initial crowd. 5 Super Bowls were here, including the final Super Bowl won by Franco Harris, Penn State alum, and the Steelers. Here come the Utes. They opened up as favorites, but Penn State will go off at kickoff as a very slight favorite in this Rose Bowl game.
This is when it really starts to hit these players. They start to look out at this setting.
Familiar for these guys, but they have come back against all odds. They had about a 1% chance of getting here late in the season. A bunch of stuff had to happen, but here they are. And the Utes fans travel, Kirk. They've taken this place over.
Back-to-back years. They came close last year, had a big crowd, and came up a little bit close, and here they are again, this time against Penn State.
James Franklin losing only to the 2 CFP teams for the Big Ten, going for win number 11 today. Only once has Penn State won a Rose Bowl. There's the great 1994 team. Beat the Ducks here. Both teams practicing in some rainy weather. Rain has held off, but it's been uncharacteristically wet and chilly here in LA the last week. What a feeling to represent your brotherhood and a team as a captain in the Rose Bowl. It was rising on the left. And out of the field, referee Mike Vandevelde and the Big 12 for today's coin toss.
Captains, congratulations on a successful season and for being selected to play in the 109th Rose Bowl game. My name is Michael Vandervelde. I'll be the referee for the game today. Alongside my umpire here is Mr. Robert Richardson. But more importantly, it is my honor to introduce to you today our dignitaries. First, the president of the 2023 Tournament of Roses Association, Miss Amy Wainscott. She will present today's coin. And next, the Grand Marshal of the Tournament of Roses, Miss Gabby Giffords, alongside her husband here, Senator Mark Lewis. Gentlemen, Miss Amy, would you please present the coin? Thank you. Gentlemen, the coin today features the logos of both teams. On this side, we have the Penn State Nittany Lions. And on the opposite side, we have the Utah Utes. The winner of the toss will be determined by whichever logo lands face up. Miss Gabby, will you please have the honors? Utah, you've won the toss. Before your choice, you'd like the ball. Which way would you like to play it? Go ahead and turn your backs, gentlemen. Utah, they've won the toss. Deferred their choice to the second half. Penn State will receive in the north end zone.
Kyle Whittingham's a defensive-minded coach. Every time in his life, he's always deferred with winning the coin toss. We'll see his defense out there against Penn State's offense. And he's with Holly Rowe. There's some noise down there in the field. It was hard to hear, Holly. There is Cam Rising, tough guy. A lot of times he has a smile on his face. He kind of lives for the battle. And he'll get one today from this defense.
Yeah, both these quarterbacks are veterans. Both these guys have had some really terrific battles throughout their careers, and how fitting for especially Clifford to have a chance to go out on this setting and try to lead his team to a Rose Bowl victory. I always tell the story about Kyle Whittingham telling me about Cam Rising, probably the greatest competitor that he's ever coached. It says it all right there. He's been around a lot of tough guys and great competitors, and this guy is at the top of the list.
Jordan Noyes to boot it away. We talked about Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, the freshman tailbacks. They are back deep to receive this opening kickoff. Singleton right up the middle in a big collision just across the 20. And Sean Clifford will trot out there. Here's a guy that's making his 46th start today. 24.5 years old, has the Penn State career records in completion percentage, pass yards, passing touchdowns. Can he create as a runner and a passer and avoid the crucial mistake today? That's the question.
That's the big thing. Utah is going to try to stop this run game and try to disguise looks, try to confuse Sean Clifford and see if they can get him to throw the ball into coverage.
The first carry, it's a keeper and trying to get the edge, but losing a couple yards as Karene Reed brought the quarterback down behind the line.
Well, they give him a look here on this zone read right here. They collapse, go at the back, meaning you got to pull it out as a quarterback. But watch the linebacker play, anticipating that. They've looked at a lot of film and they know about the legs of Sean Clifford, and Reed is undersized but has great quickness at that will linebacker spot.
Very smart, savvy guy who studies the opponent as much as anybody. And Clifford behind the sticks on second down here. Now they do hand it off, and this is Singleton, a five-star out of the state of Pennsylvania, who plows forward, but it sets up a quick third and long.
Yeah, if you're a fan of kind of throwback style football where the line of scrimmage is going to dictate the winner, this is your game. I mean, it's kind of fitting to be. You just showed all that history about the Rose Bowl. It's going to be a battle in the trenches, and especially both teams trying to run the ball.
Utah's pretty nasty on third down. Morgan Scalley, their excellent defensive coordinator, has a pressure package that's as difficult to handle as anybody's. That's Caleb Williams. Singleton motion back into the backfield, perhaps to help block this pass rush. Time is running out on Clifford. Gets it snapped. Here comes the heat. And Clifford can't escape. Utah gets home early. That's Karene Reed and Lander Barton, the true freshman.
Well, they brought the linebackers. That's what Utah is known for. Penn State has spent a lot of time anticipating the pressure. The problem is that they've got both their starting offensive tackles out, so they've got their hands full. Eventually, that pocket just collapses, but the linebackers, something that Penn State knew would be a problem on third down, and on the first third down of the game, that's what we see.
Barney Moore boots it away. Devon Bailey is a dangerous returner for Utah. Steps up and fields the short punt with a fair catch at the 36-yard line. Let's check the Chick-fil-A impact players when the Utes have the football, Kirk.
Well, let's take a look at the playmakers for Utah. The fact that their starting back Tavion Thomas has opted out means you have an opportunity for Mekhi Bernard, who is last year in his Rose Bowl actually was needed as a corner, so we'll keep an eye on him. Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, is out, so Thomas Yasmin will step up. Abdul Carter, the linebacker for Penn State, a true freshman, has been sensational. And Tick Brown, the leader and captain of this defense on the back end, 16, make sure everybody's on the same page.
They will have to adapt without Kincaid. The high snap, corralled, and they hand it up inside, and there is Bernard. The only defensive snaps in his whole career were the ones we talked about against Ohio State. Now, Cam Rising, 2 really solid years leading this Utah team. 18-5 as a starter. Those 6 rush TDs are important.
You know, his running game is typically used on just critical downs. You know, Clifford's going to run it more often. But how many times over the last couple of years have we seen Cam Rising on a third or a fourth down either scramble or design QB run, pick up those yards to keep a drive alive?
In the flat, Bernard, and he cannot escape the tackle. It's excellent stop in the open field. And it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you that the hire of Manny Diaz, the former Miami Hurricanes head coach, is brought in here to replace Brent Pry, who moved over to Virginia Tech as the new head coach. And Manny Diaz, I think about the middle of the year, after the Michigan game, which was not good, from about the Ohio State game on, this team started to understand his philosophy and his aggressive nature.
Lisa Isaac making that play, and now rising, backpedals and tries down the sideline, and it's overthrown. Cam Miller with stride for stride with Vele, and Penn State's defense gets off the field very quickly.
Yeah, Joey Porter opted out of this football game, one of the top corners in the country, and so you have Kalen King on one side, and you know Utah is going to test Johnny Dixon on the other. He's played a lot of football, but I think he's become more and more confident. And Penn State thinks they can hold up there, and showed it on that 3rd down. So both teams kind of seem like just feeling each other out in those first couple series.
Joey Porter Jr., a 2nd-team All-American. Clark Phillips, the elite cover corner and leader of Utah's secondary, out of this game. And on the run, Yazzie Ballmeister boots it away, and it's fielded by Mitchell Tinsley down inside the 10-yard line. He slips. Excellent coverage by the Utes, and Penn State will be backed up. So as expected, the defense doing a nice job early.
What they pride themselves on, how they try to win football games. A lot of it has to do with defense, line of scrimmage, running the football, playing smart with the quarterback.
Yeah, physical up front. Who can win that battle today is a big question. Lions got to run it out of here. Look out, Singleton's creased the defense and bolts out across the 25. That's what he's been doing to opponents in the Big Ten this season.
And a really unusual formation in that backfield with both the tight ends back there. They get a good block by Brenton Strange. The right tackle also makes a nice block.
Got 17 and he's back at it. Mike Yurcich uses a lot of very different formations in this offense.
Yeah, and backed up there, he put both of those big tight ends. I know he's going to rely heavily on them in this game. But right now, you think about those tackles, both the starting tackles. Fashanu is out of this game, and also Caden Wallace, the right tackle. And putting a true freshman who's played a lot, Drew Shelton, and then Bryce Effner. So you've got backup tackles who have played, but you don't have your main guys on the edge.
Utah thinks perhaps they can gain an advantage pass rushing against those tackles. Singleton makes a cut, weaves through traffic, falls forward, and sets up a 3rd down and short.
With tough running. And the fact they have 2 backs to be able to rotate in there will be important, I think, throughout this game to try to stay fresh. That's Katron Allen there, 13, and seeing what Singleton can do.
Empty backfield. Singleton split wide to the left on 3rd and 5. Now motions back in. Clifford pointing out who's got a block in the blitz. Utes are showing pressure. They back out. Clifford has time. Throws across the middle. It's complete, but short of the 1st down. Let's see where they spot him. I think it's just going to be short of the 36. Tinsley hit immediately. An early 4th down decision for James Franklin in his territory.
Sure is. You know, good job there. We just keep talking about these tackles, especially on 3rd down. That time he saw help in protection with Singleton coming over to the right side to help out on with Bryce Effner.
James, sensing this is going to be a defensive field position kind of game, sends out the punter. Not in a gambling mood in 4th and a half yard. So Vele waits back at his 20. Moore with a low boot driven near the sidelines, and it'll sail out of bounds. Offenses trying to get going here in Pasadena. Scoreless so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Big fellas on both sides tend to enjoy the Lowry Beef Bowl. Utah's offensive line is called the O block. They studied Michigan's game plan, Kirk. Wolverines ran for 418 against Penn State. Different kind of running schemes, but they're hoping they can have big-time success on the ground today.
Yeah, I also think with Manny Diaz's experience now with this team, I think they're a different, completely different defense from the team that gave up 418 on the ground in Ann Arbor.
Bounce back well. There's a long throw into completion, and escaping is Money Parks, one of the guys who is expected to step up. He's been improving a lot. Good month of practice.
Absolutely, and he's going to have to be able to step up and make some plays in this offense today. And with a soft cushion like that, good recognition there by Cam Rising, and just puts it out in front with a soft coverage by Kalen King. Some easy yards, and he loves to move and throw the football on the edges.
Both offenses searching for explosive plays. Parks is a guy who can do that after the catch. And they hand it on the end around. Jalen Dixon, they run a lot of jet sweeps and ends around. He scored 4 touchdowns as a runner this year.
Well, they do, again, because teams want to load up at the line of scrimmage to stop the run, so you have to throw in different looks to be able to keep a defense, have to respect the edges and the perimeter, not to mention the downfield shots you take. So that's all part of what Andy Ludwig likes to do as a play caller. And today, Manny Diaz, he has confidence, even without Porter, that they're going to be able to man up a lot in this game and try to load up that line of scrimmage to stop that running game.
There's a run right up the gut, and Bernard sidesteps a tackle and barrels out near midfield, and the Utes on the move.
That just opened up Penn State's defense, just kind of trying to slide, moving around. They actually take themselves out of this hole, and the double team on this side. Watch right over the left guard. See him slide there. Boy, look at that hole just open up, and then the safety, Jalen Reed, trying to come up and run support, but not able to make that tackle. Logan Kendall also with a good block.
And there's another end around coming this way. It's Parks, who shows his speed and picks up 10, and they're in Penn State territory.
Well, Chris, it's just what you just talked about. They run up the middle, then watch on the edge. Just not quick enough to be able to set the edge, and that's how you attack the edges. That's how you open up your inside running game, is you get things going on the outside with jet sweeps, and then you can fake that jet sweep and go back to the interior, really impacting the eye discipline of Penn State. And trust me, they'll give you those looks, and then they'll take a shot downfield to a tight end to try to hit a big one.
Shot of the big Aussie Thomas Yasmin, who blocks like a beast, and he's going to be the guy to hopefully step in and fill the void a little bit of Dalton Kincaid, a guy who is out of this game. He had 70 catches this year.
Well, Yasmin steps up to Kincaid's role because Kincaid being out, and then Logan Kendall becomes that blocker. You know, they really have great confidence in to be able to get involved, almost like another offensive lineman, even though they have him right now. Look at the big fella. That's your backup tight end, and you know he's coming in. He's not going to stay out there.
Wyndon Jackson has become an excellent running back as a converted quarterback, but he ran roughshod over the USC defense. Had a big game in the Pac-12 Championship game. Utes with a false start.
False start. Number 71. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Big 12 crew in charge of this game. Michael Vandervelde.
Well, we knew it was going to be the trenches, right? Physicality. We meet with the Utah coaches. All they talked about is we got on both sides of the ball. We got to win the line of scrimmage. Later in the afternoon, we go talk with James Franklin and Penn State. All they wanted to talk about. We know it's going to be a line of scrimmage game. It's going to be physical. The players were telling us about it. That's what we're seeing.
Jackson hammers forward. Both the teams have a bunch of guys who have an appetite for that kind of game. By the way, they're looking forward to it. Holly?
Guys, you've been hitting on this, but there are some key players who are out in this game. And for Utah, Dalton Kincaid has been a huge piece of what they've done this season. 70 receptions. Clark Phillips, the captain of their defense, he is such a big-time guy. 6 interceptions. The entire team together only has 6 interceptions. So they're going to have to fill some big shoes. But Yasmin has been practicing well. He's had a touchdown in each of his last 5 games. They think he can do it.
And as you know, Holly, on the left there, 80 Brant Keith, he went down earlier. He might have been the best tight end in the country before he went down.
And Rising loops a throw, and it's going to be picked off. That is Kalen King, the elite corner, who had it float down to his hands and tried to win a 50-50 ball with Vele, and Rising pays for that decision.
Slot fade. You better be careful going against 4. I brought it up earlier. Elite ball skills. Great job of sensing that fade. Gets his head turned around, eyes on the football, and then there's the ball skills to come up with the first turnover of the game.
There's no rain. It's been kind of a wet week here, Kirk, but Take 59 degrees.
Just when you say that, look at that.
Quarter. Chance.
Clifford, one pass. A lot of that has to do with the field position in this game, but only one attempt in their first few drives.
It's Katron Allen after Singleton was featured early, but he's swarmed right at the line of scrimmage. Big old Simote Peppa.
Connor O'Toole in there too. Boy, Connor O'Toole's become a great story, huh? This guy, I mean, they needed edge pressure to grow up and mature, especially Fillinger, who went out early this year with an injury. Gabe Reed and Connor O'Toole, an athletic, confident guy.
He was a wide receiver.
Was a receiver, yeah.
But how about that switch to DN?
It put on 45 pounds in the process, but man, he's starting to make plays this year for this defense.
It strains the tight end in the backfield. They flip it back. And there's Allen, who gives a stiff arm and makes a nice gain, sets up a third and makeable.
This time they roll right just to try to impact the eyes of these linebackers, get them out of position. Even if they just get out of position, see just a couple steps. You see the quickly that they're able to respond and try to get back, and they kept him just short of that first down. Got a very aggressive Utah defense going right now.
Lions hoping for their first third down conversion today, 0 for 2. Utah not showing pressure this time. Different short drop across the middle, and it's complete. That's Tyler Warren, the tight end, and he's got Penn State's first down.
This is interesting. Watch the linebackers right here bite on this outside move, and boy, just opened it up very nicely to the interior.
Finally get a first down, run a little tempo, play action on first down, and a downfield throw. It's over the head of Tinsley, who was being well covered.
Go back to this play and just see a slight little shoulder fake there to try to make the linebackers bite on it, and it worked. And really good route timing there with Tyler Warren. They get their first conversion.
See Warren, Theo Johnson. We've seen Brenton Strange. I love those two tight end formations. Allen has to slip a tackle in the backfield. Now he's off. Makes another man miss and weaves into Utah territory. Got a nice block from Keandre Lambert-Smith on the edge.
Well, Cole Bishop had him tackled. Watch 8 come down. This gives you an idea about the true freshman. You tackle him high, you're not going to bring him down. And then acceleration after he breaks that tackle.
Broke the tackle of an outstanding defensive play. Bishop, now they swarm him at the boundary.
That's one way to, that's how you want to bring 13 down. You want to swarm and get after him. He showed you in the previous play, one guy comes in high, it's not going to end well, and that's much better. That's what Kyle Whittingham and Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator, want to see, is a lot of red hats flying to the football.
Jermaine Reed, younger brother of Gabe Reed, hopes to get after the passer today. Slow things down after no gain on first down. The play fake. Clifford has to scramble, dumps it off short, and it's a short gain for Allen. Travis Broughton brought him down.
More penetration, this time in the interior. Peppa, that time the big fella, 77, was able to force him out of the pocket. You know, he was 360 pounds. He's down to 330 now. Playing much quicker in the interior, the defense. But how about the job there at Clifford? Just instead of taking a sack or throwing away, just tries to check it down just for some positive yards here.
Once again, the chess match on third down. Penn State needs 7. Very tough against this Utes defense.
You bring him in like that to try to get a tip in the hand of the defensive coverage. Looks like they're in more zone with that movement.
They use the entire play clock. Clifford across the middle, and he's got a man running free, and it's Theo Johnson. A strike to the tight end, and Penn State's in the red zone.
He moved it, Singleton into the backfield. No movement from the defense. Other motion, no movement. Right away, he knows he has some kind of zone. He's focused on the safeties, makes a quick read, and gets the ball out.
He was patient, and now he's got a free play. A 28-yard gain. They throw to the end zone. Jump ball. It's broken up. That was Harrison Wallace III against Vaughn, but the Utes jumped off.
Boy, they're going fast here, man. They are mixing that tempo up. Mike Yursich.
Offside, number 91. Defense was in the neutral zone at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Here's that conversion. Like I said, all that movement. He sees this opening right in here. Right away, he knows he wants to take a shot to Strange, and he's got to throw it on a line to be able to get it in there, and he does. And then with that free play, took a shot with Parker Washington out. Who's going to make a play? Tries to get it to Wallace, but pretty good coverage there by Vaughn.
So 1st and 5. Allen is the back. He's got it. And once again, heavy traffic in the backfield. That's Lander Barton. Was what they call the stud position on this defense.
So you want to read the in-man, right? You want to read this right here, but watch the problem. You read the in-man, he gives you the pole read, but then you got a linebacker coming to the outside to take the quarterback. So good coverage there by Penn State. They knew zone read would be a problem, especially in the red zone. They gave him a read, and they counted for him as well. Casey pulled that.
10th play of the drive. Clifford has protection, throws to the end zone, contested and broken up. Here comes a flag. Vaughn was covering Lambert Smith, and he'll be flagged for the PI.
He never got his head turned around to find a football.
Also flags back at the line of scrimmage. Total of 3 on the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 66. Offense, pass interference, number 16. Defense, those fouls will offset. We'll replay. 2nd down.
So the hold on Drew Shelton offsets this PI here.
Yeah, C16. Now he gets beat off the line of scrimmage. Never able to get back. Easy pass interference call. And then Drew Shelton with a hold call to negate this. Everybody wanted to see how this offense would step up without Parker Washington, who's injured.
The final minute of the first quarter.
He wants the ball. He's saying nobody's out here.
That's Johnson, the tight end. Now Lambert Smith moves to that side. Johnson's a blocker, and a short pass picks up about 3. Sets up another 3rd and short.
Theo Johnson wanted to, maybe he wanted to block, whatever he wanted to do. He wanted to happen fast because he knew that they were a man short. But these are good-looking tight ends that you talked about. Britton Strange, that's Theo Johnson, Tyler Warren. They use all 3 of these guys.
Now you got both freshman backs in the game, Singleton and Allen.
How about this? Look at this
wing
formation.
tee.
Yeah,
What era are we?
I mean, only in this stadium can you line up in a wing tee.
One of the few teams in the sport that uses this formation. Singleton barrels into the end zone, and Penn State draws first blood. Old school formation and a physical touchdown run. That's kind of fun.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Look at this play right here. Look at the offensive line. Watch the big tight end there, Strange. See the back, Allen leading the way. Just overload that right side and come up with that first touchdown.
It's a march after the interception. They take it 82 yards in 11 plays. Jake Pinniger knocks it through, and with 7 seconds to go in the first quarter, 7-0 Penn State. Good run pass mix on the drive, couple of conversions. They found the tight end, and King got it started with the acrobatic pick. And Singleton, part of that freshman tandem, has a Rose Bowl touchdown at Penn State.
Cool T formation right here with essentially 3 backs. But what I want you to watch is the double team by the right side. Watch that double team open it up. The tight end Strange doesn't really have anybody to block because it opened up so nicely. But Scruggs and Wormley and Effner there do a great job, and love the play call there in that formation here on this beautiful day in the Rose Bowl.
Mike Yursich is creative, uses old school. How often do you see 3 tight ends and 2 backs? Some teams go 5 wide down near the goal line, right? There were no receivers in the game that time.
Not at all. We said game of physicality.
Holly?
Well, guys, listening in on the sideline here, that was a really interesting play call. Sean Clifford said he looked at the sideline, wasn't sure if they were going to really run out of that formation, but nobody changed the call, and so he said, all right, let's do it. They were kind of laughing on the sideline that it worked, but Mike Yurcich came over and said, hey, they had a 4-missile look. It looks like they're gaining information as this game goes on about how Utah is going to play some of those coverages. Really a lot of communication with Yurcich and his offensive line right now, getting information to make these calls.
Good stuff, Holly. I mean, Clifford's seen everything. So when he shakes his head, are we really going to run this play? You know, it doesn't happen all the time. They do use that formation, but down near the goal line, it worked beautifully. So that Penn State touchdown, the only scoring in this first quarter, end of one in Pasadena. You're watching the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN. State's defense pretty stout. And then they got the takeaway that set up the long touchdown march. And now the Utah Utes trying to fight back here. Begin with a 2nd and 7. And Rising straight back on the play fake and delivers incomplete. That was very tight coverage over there. Vele, they wanted a flag on Johnny Dixon, and it does come out.
They get interference here. Had a hand on him. I'd love to hear Bill's
Pass interference,
thought on
number
this.
3, defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
I've got him early.
Early, it looked like. What
Yeah,
about at the top of the? He's got his hand on him here, Bill. Let's see what you think.
That's fine there. But
I did grab the jersey at the top of the route.
And then he's through his back.
Okay.
Yeah. Good call.
Rising agrees. He didn't see the flag at first.
He came in late. It's there. It's there.
High snap. And Rising fires easy access to Vele again. They need a big game from him today.
Yeah, Manny Diaz mixing up his looks. He's been doing some press bails and some off coverage. Every time he seems to be playing softer coverage right away, Rising has been trained in this prep for this game to take those easy shots, just take almost like an extension of their running game. Just get the ball out quickly and take the easy yards, set up 2nd and short. You'll see Manny adjust to that, try to tighten things up.
Lions bring some pressure. Ball out quickly again. Jalen Dixon ushered out very quickly there. Jonathan Sutherland, the captain, 6th-year player.
Yeah, they move in Sutherland. You know, with Curtis Jacobs is 23, does a good job of moving around, frees up Sutherland to rotate in. Sutherland, Jacobs, Abdul Carter, Kobe King, all 4 of those guys will rotate. Kobe King out there right now, along with Curtis Jacobs in the inside, is why you see Jonathan Sutherland now on the outside. Kind of an outside linebacker nickel where he can play out in space. Former safety.
He's played a couple thousand career snaps.
Been around, he's been around forever.
And off inside, and they're plowing forward on 3rd and 2, but Adisa Isaac and Hakeem Beeman able to stop Jackson. He's going to be just short of the marker.
Man, he kept moving his legs, man. He really is a powerful former quarterback. Transfers from Texas, 230 pounds. I thought he might have come up with a first down, but Penn State does a good job of keeping him short. Isaac actually got in there to 20 off the edge to keep him short.
Utah with a 6th offensive lineman. Whittingham's going to go for it here at midfield.
You're looking at the length of a football here.
Jackson next to Rising, but it's Cam all the way. Hesitates, finds a hole, and dives into Penn State territory for the first down.
Like we said earlier, he's not going to run a lot, but you can assure yourself on critical downs in situations, he's going to run the football, gives him an extra man. He becomes almost like a running back, just gets right behind Jackson and that big offensive line. Even when you know it's coming, you still can't stop it. We got some pushing and shoving right now between these 2 teams.
There's Johnny Dixon, the Penn State corner, in the middle of it. The athletic training staff also looking at him, standing up but surrounded by the staff.
Yeah, P.J. Mustafer was out there having a few words for one of the Utah players. I think it was 78, Lamaya, the right tackle.
Dixon would be a concern. Mentioned Joey Porter Jr. opting out of the game, getting ready for the draft. So Dixon jumping in to help out Kalen King, who's excellent on the other side, but they're a little thin at the corner position today. Marquise Wilson Jr. who's experienced, but not as good as Dixon, is out in the game now. And the Utes with a fresh set of downs. And a lot of shifting, and Rising able to draw the Lions offside. They're pointing at Utah.
The guy to keep an eye on, I keep watching him, is 78, the right tackle. Lamaya is really chirping out there, the right tackle, and you can see it right there. It's still going on. I mean, these two teams
didn't take long. They just met first meeting.
No, there's a lot of
Offside,
chirping going
number
on.
97, defense. Jumped into the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. That's a 5-yard penalty.
It's a physical line of scrimmage game. These guys all know that. They've been waiting a month for this, and I'm surprised that it's a little salty.
Right here, after Musfer says something, you see 78 coming in, pointing, kind of getting close to the previous play, and then it continued on the last play. Watch 78 on the edge again, letting 46 now know.
To be continued.
Oh, yeah.
That hand up, Jackson hit hard.
No one's going anywhere.
Mustapher is a guy who just grew up, watching the Rose Bowl. You could almost, he was emotional almost, and he's emotional at the moment. But
I'm just going to tell you right now, Bill, I'd love to hear your thought. Whenever I see this early in the game, the refs better get control of it, or the players are going to end up dealing. They're going to take care of it themselves.
And the refs are getting in there. They're talking to them and that, but you reach a point where you
got to throw the. You got to.
It's going to cost you 15.
You like to see it, the aggression, you love it, but if the refs don't get control of it, that's 3 plays in a row where you've seen some of that.
End of the play, Solomon Enos, a Utah receiver, ended up in the Penn State bench, and there was some jawing back and forth. So it's building quickly here. Perhaps talking about that at the moment.
The clock is correct. It is second down.
This is what I'm talking about at the end of the play. Did he get confused where he's supposed to be going? He lost his mouthpiece. And was that picked up and thrown? I don't know what's going on over there.
By the way, Carnacina's son, by the way. It's kind of crazy.
Jackson bounces off contact and falls forward. Jair Brown brings him down, but it's a first down. Holly?
Well, you guys said it. It's getting chippy down here, but that seems unnecessary. He lost his mouthpiece on his last route. He went back over to retrieve it, and one of the Penn State guys picked it up and just tossed it over into the stands. So he's not going to have that mouthpiece. Hopefully it wasn't
It's
custom.
pretty good range if he reached the stands with it, but it's an unwanted souvenir for somebody.
It had to be a towel. His mouthpiece is hanging off of his chin or his face mask.
Guy Bernard back in the game. He's putting together a good-looking drive, trying to answer. Rising, steps up, escapes, and slides down, but not before picking up about 6. They'll spot him at the beginning of the slide.
Again, Manny Diaz going to bring pressure. Linebacker clears out. So again, if you have linebackers that clear out, he had the underneath crosser was open, but instead, I think anytime he sees linebackers clear out, he's going to just try to get positive yards. Not a quarterback that's going to go 50 on you, but he is a quarterback that's going to take yards when they're there.
It's an important stat in football, the pressure to sack ratio. How often do you get him to the ground even when you pressure him? And it's not very often against Rising. Bernard breaks free. Micah Bernard. And Mackay down to the 12-yard line. So Utah continues to get the running game cranked up.
Watch the blocking, combination blocking in the interior. Good job there. They get up to the backer who is coming downhill. Just splits open. There's that acceleration that we know that Bernard has.
15-yard gain. Bernard again on the delay. Slammed after a 2-yard gain. Abdul Carter, whereas the coveted number 11, the true freshman linebacker, combining with Tyler Elson on the stop.
That right side of Utah's offensive line, physical on this drive. Mokavisi, the right guard.
Lamar Arrington, it began that number 11 tradition.
Yeah, Lamar, the right tackle. That last play, just really good angles. Really, the last few plays, good angles to take down Mustapher.
Utes turn to have 3 tight ends in the game, rising, running all the way, and he's brought down near the marker. Johnny Dixon, who is back in the game, made the tackle.
How about a pin and pull for the quarterback? Seal the edge,
Ruling on the field,
lead
he's on the
around with
shorter line
a
of
big
game,
tight
will be
end, an
third down.
offensive tackle. In Penn State, having to account for the quarterback run, gets those safeties down, will open up other aspects of the playbook on other drives for Andy Ludwig. Just every time he keeps the ball, it makes this defense, Tig Brown and Keaton Ellis and others, aware of it.
It's Vele, the receiver, deep in that formation, and they power it right ahead and create a 1st and goal.
How about this drive they put together? This is hard to do against this Penn State. There it is again. There's more of this stuff going on. Mustapher right in the middle of it, in the bottom of that pile. It's the 13th play of this drive coming up.
It's featured physical ground game, and things continue to get really chippy down there in the pit. Take out of the I formation, flip to the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Thomas Yasmin, the former rugby player from Australia, who knew nothing about football before he arrived at Utah in 2018, makes a big play in Kincaid's absence.
I want to say he does a good job sliding out. Good job on 1st and 10. They fool Carter. Does he hold on to this? Is he bobbling this at all? It's tough to see from that look. This is a good look right here. It's a heck of a job of slipping him out. Has possession. Doesn't look like that ball bobbles. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got him. He's had firm control of the ball. He's hit the ground. He's rolled over, and then it comes out. It's a catch. It's a touchdown.
James
Penn
Franklin
State
is
has
going
called
to
their
spend
first
a
charge
timeout.
timeout
Perhaps to take another
of the
look
first
at
half.
that.
Timeout on the field.
No other reason to take a timeout before a PAT. Another look.
Slip him behind again. The tight ends. You don't have Kincaid, so Yasmin's been asked to step up. Like Bill said, he secures that ball, falls, completes the process of the catch for the touchdown.
Touchdown.
Let's make sure. We'll take a break. Agreeing with Bill and the rest of us. So a big smile from Thomas Yasmin. 6th career touchdown for the guy who ran roughshod as a young rugby player. Can you imagine trying to deal with him on the rugby pitch? 6'5", like 250.
You broke that film down too, did you? Among all the other.
I hope we could show it. He looks like Derrick Henry playing rugby. He's throwing around much smaller guys. Had some offers to play pro rugby, but chose to come and give American football a try. Noyes, who's doing all the kicking since Jaden Redding, the other Utes kicker, has moved on with his life. Utah, 13 play drive, 7 apiece.
Strong hands too. It's one hand holding on to that.
Game is his 50th. Began as an assistant for the former game manager, moved up the ladder, and has been game production for the last 20 years. That's the Leishman Trophy, awarded to the winning team at the end of this 109th Rose Bowl game.
I think he's going to have that post till they declare a victor here.
Is guarding the trophy one of Ted's responsibilities? That would be expected. You know, both defenses giving up yards grudgingly. That was a 10 runs, 3 passes on that drive. A couple of penalties by Penn State aiding the Utes scoring drive.
This feels like we're setting ourselves up for a big play in a pass game. You know, somebody's got to make all this
Allen's
slugfest.
got a little crease and a nice return by the freshman out to the 30-yard line. We talked about Thomas Yasmin, who comes from Sydney. And this is him playing rugby. Look at this dude. I mean, this is like a high school kid. I mean, breaking tackles, stiff arm, get off me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's really known for, is the ball in his hands after the catch, right? And I don't blame him. That's without pads on, a big fella running like that.
That's a problem for the guys trying to tackle him. No pads, though. Clifford rolls, scans, and will fire it away. Nobody open there, and he was being pursued by Vaki. Ali?
Well, Kyle Whittingham took a leap of faith on Thomas Yasmin, and he said that, you know, I knew that he could run after the catch because he did so well in rugby, but when he got to us, he'd never caught the ball, and he didn't actually even know how to put on his own pads. He said it was pretty funny the first day trying to watch this big guy put his pads on, but he has learned quickly, and they're learning that he has good hands. That physicality from the rugby game has translated, and sight unseen, Kyle Whittingham said bring him over, and he's getting rewarded today.
That's pretty basic. When you here's the pads, fella. Here's some straps. Here's how we put them on. But like you said, learning quickly. 2nd and 10. Allen tries to bounce it, but he cannot escape the grasp of Vaki again. So 3rd and long now.
Well, those linebackers are doing a good job of staying clean, getting off of blocks up front. Vaki there, Landon Barton, 20, who's had a great freshman year, kind of forcing it to the outside. Both those guys are true freshmen. Had big years for this defense, especially as the year is into that second half of the season in the Pac-12.
Already the 6th 3rd down for Penn State today. They've converted 3 of the 5.
You know, they're showing blitz, but somebody's got to drop out with those 3 receivers off to the right.
They do. Clifford is looking that direction, spins away from the rush, and now fires, and wide open down the field is Lambert Smith. So he scrambled against the grain, and the coverage lost Lambert Smith.
Well, he looked right, and it actually moved the safety that way, and it allows him to scramble back the other way. And with the eyes into the backfield by the defense, especially the corner, Broughton, nobody there on that behind the corner.
Crafty move, picks up 32. Clifford looking to throw again on 1st down and fires to Allen, who picks up about 7.
And if you watch him, and when he gets to the back of the top of his drive, see his eyes, look how he moves. And there's nobody on the back end, and Lambert Smith is just waving his hands, saying, hey, that's safety. He moved all the way over. There's nobody back here. So good recognition there with Clifford, with his eyes downfield on that scramble. Probably the area that he's improved the most in his 4 years at Penn State as a quarterback.
Spreading the ball around, 8 of 10. Take it to Allen across the middle. He throws a bullet, and that's Harrison Wallace III, who shows good hands. That was a fastball. Penn State set up inside the 10.
We're going to go quick here. Watch the linebackers. A run-pass option. What's that linebacker doing? He moves just enough. You're going to have to try to make a throw, which he does. Good read and a good quick throw there by Clifford, reading that linebacker.
So after a couple of long, methodical touchdown drives, Penn State moving quickly, trying to reclaim the lead. 1st and goal from the 10, not easy against this offense. They come out throwing, and they make it look easy. Mitchell Tinsley on the slant. That's a strong drive from the veteran Penn State quarterback.
Well, we wondered who would step up, and we've seen that now in the perimeter. Watch the safety move, come up. That creates the opening right behind the safety, Vaki, who kind of reacts to that flat route. And so when you able to back-to-back throws into the interior of this defense, it's because they're worried about those edges. And we haven't seen Clifford throw the ball much at all this game, and on that drive, they opened it up.
Utes are a good red zone defense, so 1st and goal at the 10 is a tough assignment. Penn State's response, aggression. throwing the slant on 1st and goal, and Tinsley gives the Lions the lead again by 7.
In a corner, the corner Vaughn, just trying to get on the same page, making sure that in case there's anything coming his way. And then you see the eyes in the backfield. The slight hesitation by Vaughn, and when he moves up to Wallace, look at that throwing lane. That Clifford makes an easy throw there for the touchdown to Tinsley.
Stood in, took the hit just after the throw. It's the 100th touchdown that he's responsible for in his career. 85th touchdown pass, 4 completions on that impressive 70-yard drive. Monday night, a week from now, the TCU Horned Frogs will try to dethrone the Georgia Bulldogs just about 20 miles away from here in SoFi Stadium. 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 West Coast on ESPN. Both teams having to recover from long, tough, emotional victories. Both quarterbacks have tremendous stories. Max Duggan, not the day 1 starter, had to get his job back because of injury. He's played spectacularly, and Stetson Bennett trying to lead the Dogs to back-to-back titles. Not many quarterbacks have done that in the history of the sport. So the Utes go back to work, and Mekhi Bernard tries the left side, but not much success. Abdul Carter there to meet him.
So far, they've not had to throw the football. He's only thrown for 20 yards, but they've been able to run this time. Penn State sets the edge, and then they get off blocks. Abdul Carter, who is a huge true freshman out of Philly at LaSalle High School, 6'3", 233, making that number 11. And all those who wore it, including Micah Parsons and LeVar Arrington, very proud of the way he's played this year as a true freshman.
Very athletic, plays with an edge, mature beyond his years. Rising, throws a slant there, and it's broken up. Johnny Dixon in coverage, and it's 3rd and 10.
Good tight coverage again by these Penn State DBs. Johnny Dixon that time looked like he was able to get around the receiver and get his right hand in there and knock it away. Kai Cope on an inside quick slant move, but just no separation at all. That continues to be a theme here for the Utah receivers, not winning on the outside.
Even without the marquee corner, Joey Porter Jr., this Penn State secondary is showing why they're one of the best in the country. Lions crowd the line here on 3rd and 10, showing heavy pressure, and they bring it. And Rising off the back foot just launches downfield, and coming back to make the catch is Vele. Had the feeling of a prayer, but the DB not as aware as the receiver. Marquise Wilson was beaten.
Yeah, we talk about the pressure. He gets hit as he throws it, but we've just bragged on the corners, and then Wilson just loses the ball. So often we see an underthrown ball with a corner that doesn't locate it. It's either interference or it's a big gain. And this time it's a big gain with Marquise Wilson just not locating the ball. He just came out there. It's been King and it's been Dixon. But that time on 3rd and long, they went to their nickel package, and they found the right matchup.
47-yard gain to Vele, who was mainly a hoops player in high school, almost no height for football, but he's become an excellent receiver. Good chemistry, obviously, with Rising. Holly?
Well, Kirk, you're all over it. There was a change right there at corner. Kalen King has come off and gone to the locker room. I looked at him run up the tunnel. It didn't seem like anything was obviously apparent. I'm not sure if he's just running to the restroom or not, but he was off on that long pass play. That's what you picked up there. Good move, Kirk.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that the coverage has been outstanding. King is by far their top cover guy with Joey Porter not here. They felt good about what they had in the matchup with Dixon on one side and King on the other, but for now to the left is Wilson.
Pitch on the edge, and Bernard spinning down near the marker just short of it. Option into the boundary look.
So a couple different challenges here for the backup corner. Number one, they take a shot downfield. He doesn't find the football. Now they're going to try to challenge him and run right into the boundary. Pitch the ball off of Isaac, get a good block, force him to have to tackle out there. So one play, he's downfield, right? Just checks into the game. One play is downfield. Next play, he's trying to come up and support against the option play.
Money Parks in the backfield now motions out.
Look at the confusion with 8. I mean, they have a lot of movement there.
And Jackson spins free and barrels into the end zone, and Utah answers. As the converted quarterback shows that he is a high-quality running back. 19 yards on the score.
Andy Ludwig says as if this isn't enough for this look at 8 in the back end. All the movement. Am I going to the left? Whoop, whoop, I'm coming back. All the confusion. With all that being said, the linebacker gets free. He's in there with a chance to make a play, but the quickness on one play by Jackson and the physicality to run through those arm tackles. What a play there by the backup running back.
So Bailey's catch of 47 sets up the touchdown. And the Utes muscle it in on the ground, and the offense is beginning to flex a little bit. 2:38 to play before halftime, and it's 14 apiece. He's a football player.
Sure is.
Happy at the moment. Goodyear giving you the aerial coverage, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Reese and the gang get ready for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report down here in the corner of the field. Des and David, you going to run down there and do
a quick halftime?
Yeah, can you get back up here for the third quarter? Both the Utah and Penn State marching bands will also perform. Why not? There's nothing you're not capable of, Kirk.
What the heck?
Singleton knocked down just across the 20. So drive recap brought to you by Prudential. Each offense has scored each of the last 2 times they've had it.
Yeah, and the last time Penn State had the ball, they put it in the hands of 14, and he was 4 or 5 for 68 yards. Good job of improvising there, buying that time. And then a couple quick slants, one to Harrison Wallace, and then the touchdown to Mike Mitchell-Tinsley. Just like that, blink of an eye, gives this passing game and a Penn State offense some confidence. So you look at 2:34 to go in the half. You know, with a veteran quarterback coming off a great drive, they're thinking about moving the ball down the field here.
Meanwhile, when the Utes get the running game going, Rising starting to be very effective off play action. So a lot for both defenses to think about at the moment. Pop pass to Tinsley, who gives a stiff arm and is wrestled down on the sidelines after about a 4-yard gain. Vaki's been active for that Utes defense.
Yeah, Vaki is everywhere. Talking to Morgan Scalley this week, he just talked about, you know, this is a defense that lost so much leadership, and they needed some guys to mature pretty quickly, especially young players, and Vaki is one of those.
Second and long. Clifford is going to try to escape. He'll be dragged down right near the line of scrimmage. And this big junior Tafuna.
So Tafuna gets the sack, but the coverage downfield leads to the sack. Get a little pressure off the edge, forces him to step up, and then a good push in the pocket. And they're able to bring down the mobile Clifford to set up this 3rd down and long. Penn State, I'm sorry, Chris, Penn State now you would think it take their time here after a couple plays not going their way.
You can see the crowd jumping around, sensing that the Utes have a chance to seize momentum here if they can get off the field. Perhaps go to work before halftime, and they'll get the football to begin the 3rd quarter. So this is a moment here.
Watch the tackles here in protection.
Play clock at 1 when Clifford snaps it. It's a 4-man rush. He has time and fires to Tinsley over the middle, who's got a 1st down and is still running out near the 40. That was a key conversion.
Great job by that offensive line. You know, you got backup offensive tackles. They give him the time, and I love the poise here, the patience by 14 to make that throw.
Out quickly, it's dropped by Singleton in the flat. 17-yard gain and 3rd and long. Clifford, very accurate start. He's been avoiding the kind of decisions that Penn State fans kind of shake their heads about sometimes.
Especially on 3rd down, right? Big downs, and this is a good throw. And like I said, he's very happy to be able to sit there and set his feet on that 3rd down with that offensive line. Utah did not bring pressure. They thought they could get home without having to blitz. Usually you see them blitz on 3rd down.
That's a pre-snap chess maneuvering for both offenses. 4-man rush again. Clifford is going to be sacked. They did get home that time. Karene Reed got around and beat the guard Wormley.
Yeah, this is what you worry about with this offensive line, is movement like this coming around, and that's what they do. Come all the way around, and Wormley not quick enough laterally, and no communication there with the right tackle after to switch off onto that. So
Utah has called their first charge timeout in the 2nd half.
There's some limping.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
After that play, he's kind of hunched over. It's going to be 3rd down again, 3rd and 16. Minute 6 to go. So very nearly had the first scoreless 1st quarter at the Rose Bowl in more than 20 years. But the offenses have got going now. Nice blend of running and passing really from both sides.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those typical Rose Bowls. It's going to go into the second half. It's going to be a play here or a play there. In fact, James Franklin, we sat down with him yesterday. He said these are two evenly matched teams. You just know it's going to be 4 or 5 plays that are going to determine the outcome of the game. And you just don't know when those plays are going to come. But it sure seems to be playing out that way here in the first half.
This was a promising Penn State drive before the Utes pass rush got to them. Utah with a couple of timeouts if they can get the football back right here.
But they didn't blitz on that last third down.
And it's a running play, and Allen just bangs forward. I think that's a conservative call. Timeout from Kyle here to try to preserve as much of this time, but inability to block that front ultimately doomed the drive.
Utah, first charge timeout.
Looks like Clifford's okay. He's a tough cat.
Second
Sure
charge
is.
timeout of the first half. It'll be a 30-second
Went to the
timeout.
powerhouse program down in Cincinnati, St. Xavier.
Tradition continues with a fine quarterback play at St. X, right?
Yes, it does.
Young Chase, unusual for a young guy like him to play quarterback in a program like that. Hey, this is exciting. You got a monster NFL game following us on Monday night, 5:15 West Coast, 8:15 Eastern.
I mean, it's as good as it gets. What a day for ESPN and for sports fans. You have the Rose Bowl. You had a great game earlier today with USC and Heisman Trophy winner coming up a little bit short. And then to finish it off tonight between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow in Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. Both these teams are having great years within their division. Both teams are trying to fight with Kansas City to be the overall #1 seed. So that is a heck of a game coming up later tonight.
Forward to that.
Back to the hotel and check that one out, boys. Here we go.
Here comes the punt. And more boots deep, and Vela is going to make the smart move and just let that bounce into the end zone. So we'll see here what Utah likes to do. They got to get the football to begin the third quarter, which might influence the level of aggression in this drive. They do have 1 timeout and 54 seconds to work with.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a lot of time with a veteran quarterback. Now, you don't have necessarily, you're going to have to find some matchups that work to your advantage on the outside. It's great to see that Kalen King comes back. Remember, he was out. Marquise Wilson was in. He's now back out there. But you don't have great matchups on the outside for Utah. You got to find maybe the tight ends here, or possibly your guy Vela, 17.
Rising avoids the pressure, takes off, eludes a tackler, and it's a good start with the drive. He's out to the 35. Clock will stop momentarily to move the sticks.
It's not always pretty with 7, but man, he picks up yards.
That was pretty to me.
He had a little hurdle there, right?
And now the sideline route that's incomplete. That was fortunate
Pulling
to
on the
save
field
the
is an
clock.
incomplete pass. It's second down.
He kind of lumbers downfield, and then he goes over Tig Brown and lands it. I mean, he doesn't run like a quarterback. He almost runs more like a tight end or a fullback in the open field.
You make Jair Brown, who's an excellent safety, whiff when a tackle, though. You've shown some athletic ability.
He has athletic ability. It's effective, but I think the word is lumber. But it works.
He's like your choice of adjective. Lumber?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a good way.
Okay. Well, there he is off the back foot, and it's in and out of the hands of Yasmin. We were talking him up, but it's a costly drop. That was out near midfield.
No, we talk about trying to get separation. How about a matchup? 6'5", 250 against the corner King, who just came back into the lineup, and there's that separation. That is a mismatch.
Didn't need to jump.
No. He was wide open. Ball's perfectly thrown.
See if that's costly. Would have been in Penn State territory. 3rd and 10. See if the Lions bring some pressure. No, they rush 4. Rising has time, delivers a strike, and it's collected and bobbled by Vela, who's got a first down.
Well, he works from the right. Watch the head of the quarterback. From the right all the way back. Great time from the offensive line. And a good job. A big target at 6'5", coming back to Vela there into the boundary.
It's up to jump out of bounds so they can take their time with this play call.
Nothing better than that with only one timeout left. Positive yards, first down, out of bounds. Loved how he worked through his progressions there from the play side all the way back into the boundary.
I think in field goal, they've got a ways to go for Jordan Noyes, who's not known as a long distance kicker. Rising scrambles, sideline route, incomplete. There's Vele again.
He caught that, but he's out of bounds. I don't know how he caught it. I thought he just was throwing that away. Look at this. Are you kidding me?
It was airborne, but
I mean, he's airborne. I know it's not a catch, but I'm just honoring the fact that he caught that football somehow.
Amazing hands.
Ridiculous.
They have that timeout. They're going to have to move the ball 20 yards, I think, to give Jordan Noyes a comfortable go at a field goal here. Play clock at 4. Clean pocket, steps up and delivers into traffic, and then was coming over. Keaton Ellis, the safety, providing help, broke it up.
They continue to give him time to throw, and only rushing 3, dropping 8. There's that matchup again. This time he kind of anticipates the ball going out there. He has Ellis helping out over top. One thing to remember, Penn State, Manny Diaz, when you think of Manny Diaz, you think of pressure. They want to get upfield. They want to get tackles for a loss. They want to get sacks. Come into this game, one of the top teams in the country in sacks, and tonight, 0. A goose egg in his first half.
And Rising, get a completion downfield, 15 to 20 yards, and give his kicker a chance. Pressure. Forget about that. And as the Lions come up with their first sack of the afternoon, and it's Curtis Jacobs on the blitz, and that'll end the first half.
Well, we just said, where's the pressure? Can they get home? It's something they're known for. Good job of flushing him. You see 11 there. He comes around because of that pressure. And they corral him, or actually corral him in the pocket, not let him get out.
But Cook, we expected a pretty even matchup coming in. Very even in total yards in the first half, and dead even on the scoreboard. 14 apiece. Mercedes-Benz halftime report coming up after these messages. It's the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN. $14 apiece here. We expected a close, tight game, decided in the final couple possessions, Kirk, and we're getting it so far.
It's what we thought we really would see, a game that's going to go back and forth. I think it's going to be probably the same near the end of this game. Which of these quarterbacks maybe has the ball in his hands with a chance to win it? You feel like Penn State's starting to get things going through the air with Clifford and his receivers, and you feel like Cam Rising hasn't really been able to make things happen yet through the air, but eventually Andy Ludwig, as the play caller for Utah, has a chance to maybe get that going.
See if Penn State can continue to have success offensively without the typical run production. They've done a pretty good job limiting Singleton and Allen. But on third down, Franklin's quarterback is 5 for 5. There is Cam Rising, had the big downfield play when Kalen King was out of the game to Vele, but set up the touchdown. And this is Money Parks from the 7. And he's going to be knocked down. Excellent coverage at the 23. Holly, what do you have?
Well, James Franklin said they have got to get more pressure on Cam Rising. They have got to affect the quarterback more. He said if we can't get it done with our 4 guys up front, we're going to have to start blitzing guys from other positions. He's just operating too effectively. And then for them on offense, he really likes what they're able to do so far, but he said we have to be more efficient on first down so we're not in those 3rd and long situations. Don't forget to mix the speed of those running backs in. He likes what the freshmen have done so far. Got
their first sack of the game late in the first half there. They're not afraid to blitz, though, so maybe we'll see more of that from Manny Diaz in the second half. Mekhi Bernard, quick burst up the middle for him, about 7.
And that threat of the quarterback run can open up different aspects of this Utah offense. They test the edges. Time going right to the edge here with a quick little zone read. It opened it up nicely there for positive yards on 1st and 10.
Guys up front doing their job, Kirk, when they've had 79 yards rushing before contact. Doing this without Tavion Thomas, their physical back, who's not available. And that time they swarm him Curtis Jacobs got in the backfield. No gain, sets up a 3rd and 2.
And the reason he got into the backfield is Hakeem Beamon, 51, who's kind of slippery, undersized in the interior of this defense, but got leverage on the big offensive lineman, and they had to spend all their time worrying about him, and that freed up Jacobs. So they move around from outside to inside. It freed him up to make that play.
When is 264 small? In the modern world of college football, as an interior lineman, that's what Beamon plays at. 3rd and 2, it's Jackson. He's met in the hole, and he bounces off a tackle and gets a 1st down.
Boy, good job. I thought Rising might be fooled by this right here. I thought he might feel that he was collapsing down. Tough read, but a good job of making the proper read there. And we keep seeing a combination of Bernard, who's quick, and then Jackson at 6'2", 230, who runs more with power and gets behind his pads. Just enough there for the 1st.
Yeah, Olsen could not wrap him up. Powerfully built back. That's Bernard back in the game and in motion. Rising steps up, lofts it to the sidelines, and it's broken up. That was a good job by Abdul Carter running in coverage. Ball bounced off his back. He was guarding Yasmin.
Yeah, it's man coverage. What a good matchup there with a true freshman.
His helmet actually
going up against Yasmin. Right? That's one, whatever it takes, right? He never got turned around, but he didn't interfere, and the ball just bounces off the helmet. But Benny Diaz again mixing up the coverages, that time playing man free, leaving guys out on islands, and the big linebacker holds up against the tight end.
Carter does a lot for this defense. Guards tight ends, comes after the quarterback, strong run support. And Rising fooled him, and he keeps it and spins for a 1st down in midfield. They tackled the ball carrier, but the quarterback kept it.
You know it's coming. And this time they collapse down. He gets the Yasmin out in front as a blocker on Carter, and just a good job of getting critical downs. He baits this defense into thinking that, hey, kind of lulls them to sleep, and then just when they need it, he pulls it. And he can accelerate and get upfield when he needs to.
Cam's parents happy that his knee is healthy. He struggled in that USC game, but a month to get that knee back to 100%. You're seeing the difference. And there's a pass behind McLean. One of the other tight ends that get involved here.
But we just talked about Beamon and how he's undersized, but he's quick. And that time, pressure in the middle, along with blitzing the backers, Elston forced him to get that ball out of his hands quickly. Haven't seen a lot of pressure, but Holly just mentioned that Manny Diaz and James Franklin emphasizing that to that front. Got to affect the quarterback.
It's a 2nd down handoff to Jackson, and that time he is not going to escape the tackle of Adisa Isaac. He's going to be 3rd down and long.
And Isaac on the outside. I tell you, he's known as a pass rusher, but watch him work, get off of the block there, the big tight end Logan Kendall, and be disruptive. Love to see that off the edge there. Only 240 pounds. Played a few different sports in high school, and athletic guys, had to put a little weight on, but they're doing a good job defending the run.
Rising just 1 for his last 8. Can he create something here on 3rd and long? Has to avoid immediate pressure on the run, delivers the throw, and it's caught. Logan Kendall, another tight end, lumbering down there for a 1st down.
What, you're not expecting Logan Kendall to slip out. He's just kind of gonna get held up here initially, trying to help, and then he just releases. It's just almost a check down. And nobody from Penn State's anticipating him throwing the football. So great job by Rising against the pressure of Tig Brown to keep that play alive just long enough for that throw.
A lot of hard work blocking all season long, rewarded with a big 3rd down catch in the Rose Bowl. And now in the reverse, Baylor's going to throw it. He was going to look back in the direction of Rising, who was covered, and the receiver is going to be dragged down by Curtis Jacobs. Penn State ready for the trick plays this Utah offense brings.
And Tig Brown sees it right away that the quarterback, he almost showed it a little bit too prematurely to try to get out to the open where he could throw the football, but Baylor just has to give up on it. He looked back, and I think he locked in just on his primary target of Cam Rising, and a good job again by the safety.
You see, you don't want those receivers or running backs reading coverage. When the first guy's not open.
Primary, second, third, we don't want him working through progressions. Here or here.
That's a 9-yard loss. Rising under pressure again, fires up his back foot. It's a low throw, incomplete. Just barely got the ball up, but couldn't get anything on it because Chop Robinson was trying to chop him down.
Chop Robinson just getting pressure off the tight end. Yasmin trying to protect. They definitely listened to James Franklin and Manny Diaz about, hey, we've got to affect the quarterback. He had all kinds of time to throw in the first half, and now you're starting to see him dial it up and get after it.
It was a risky throw.
Sure was.
Lucky to avoid the pick. But a lot of work to do. 3rd and 19. He's been efficient throwing the ball on 3rd down, but not clicking lately with the pass game. Rising scans the field, goes right down the seam, and not on the same page. And it's incomplete. That was McClain, the tight end. They tried to target him a couple times in the drive, but the Utes stalled thanks to Jacob's sack.
And Isaac again gets pressure. Watch at the bottom of your screen. 20. We saw him defend the run. This time inside move there against Daniels, and kind of pressure like that on 3rd down and long makes the quarterback want to get the ball out of his hands a little bit early. No chance.
Bo Meester, the Aussie, from where else? Tries to pin Penn State back. Kicks it pretty high. The coverage team tracking it. They let it bounce, and they field it beautifully at the 5-yard line. So well executed. Utes pin Penn State back. Lions' first possession of the quarter coming up. Penn State pinned back. Clifford has avoided a mistake so far in this football game. This would be a bad time for one. From the end zone, over the middle, and just bounced harmlessly, but a lot of traffic in the area. Theo Johnson was the intended target, but Diabate provided the pressure.
Yeah, Diabate is a middle linebacker that they like to, from time to time, move around and try to get him as close to the line of scrimmage or blitz him. And, you know, as the season went on, the transfer from Florida started to become more and more comfortable with his scheme, and they love to mix him around. You can get after the quarterback.
See him up to adjust the protection. It's rush 4 from the end zone. It's a slant, and Tinsley reaches back behind him. A nice hands catch, but falls down 2 yards short of the marker.
Yeah, they motion out Singleton. Creates a one-on-one now back to the field. So he cleared it out by moving the back out. Pre-snap movement made it a little bit more defined of a throw and an easier throw there to give him a chance on 3rd down.
It's showing some late pressure. It's a run. And busting free is Singleton. Nick Singleton in a foot race. One that he will win. Touchdown, Penn State. 87 yards. That run again, Kurt, contained. Defended well, and then boom, the lightning strike, and Penn State reclaims the lead.
But it did open up with Drew Shelton, 66, the true freshman. See the tight end here help out as well, Theo Johnson. But where does the safety go in support? Not there at all. R.J. Hubert out of position. It opens it up, no one to take care of it. Remember, it's 3rd down or it's tight yardage. They walk everybody up there, and he breaks free, and there's no one in the back end to prevent the big play. But a good job of opening it up by Shelton and the big tight end.
More often than not, Utah have been hitting Penn State runners behind the line. That time a big crease and a huge play.
Head to Gatorade.com for exclusives to help you fuel your 2023 goals. AT&T 5G. Too much college football is never too much. And Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem.
Remember, it's 3rd down and short. Look at the safety, R.J. Hubert, who comes down. He starts to come down in almost a tight zero coverage, but he gets the attention by the official, or by this coach. He looks over, makes sure he's on the same page, gets to the outside, and then he takes the quarterback. But look right here. Is that a hold possibly by Theo Johnson to turn that linebacker to open it up?
Villamagna says no. Borderline, but no. Well, Penn State, before the game, honored former Nittany Lion and Steeler great Franco Harris. Won 4 Super Bowls, the last of which came right here in the Rose Bowl. January '80 against the Rams. Had a couple of short touchdown runs, and Franco Harris lost just a couple of weeks ago. And to honor their former Nittany Lion, Penn State wore his Penn State number 34 as they got off the bus. That's a nice touch.
Very nice.
Must Franco at age 72.
One of the most humble stars you've ever met. Such a good man.
Rising, trying to answer, rolls out on 1st down, but he threw it behind big Logan Kendall. When we played at Penn State, he was blocking a lot of the time for Lydell Mitchell. It was a tremendous college backfield, late 60s, early 70s. Of course, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and 4 Super Bowl championships in the 70s for the Steelers.
Known around the country about, of course, his Hall of Fame career with the Steelers, but boy, we'd see him often back at Penn State games supporting those Nittany Lions.
And off in traffic. That's Jackson picking up a few. Nick Tarburton on the tackle, and it's 3rd down and 7 now for Rising. It's a passing game, Clark, that's kind of lost its rhythm a little bit. Penn State only pressured him 5 times in the first half. They got him 5 times in that last possession.
Penn State knew they'd give up some plays potentially through the air to the tight ends, especially to Yasmin, but they came in with a goal with Manny Diaz saying, we're going to make Cam Rising beat us throwing the football. We're going to have to load up and stop this running game and get him into 3rd down situations like this.
And Rising flushed again, trying to make it with his leg. Shows the toughness, takes a hit, and they do move the sticks across the 35.
Well, if you're gonna come after Cam Rising, you better get there. You better have somebody to account for him. There's the pressure right there, and this sums up Cam Rising these last couple years. He just throws his body into that collision.
He paid a price here at the end, though, Kirk. Yeah, he's still down the field. It's that left leg. Remember, the knee has been the problem. He's been playing through pain a lot of the season. And a reminder that he was knocked out of the Rose Bowl game a year ago. Took a shot when his head pounded against the turf against Ohio State, had to leave. Hope that's not the case here. We'll step aside. Favoring that left knee, which has been a problem this season, right into the medical tent. His parents obviously concerned. It was a year ago in this game he had to leave. A loss against Ohio State. So Bryson Barnes, who had done almost nothing at quarterback before coming in against the Buckeyes, somehow engineered a touchdown pass to Kincaid. He's had some experience this year. He's been able to get in some ball games. He's much better prepared than he was a year ago, and they throw his first play as a completion to Money Parks. Here it is.
Well, if you go back, think about when he had to come in for Cam Rising last year, makes his throw to Kincaid to give Utah hopes of trying to get back and winning a game, in a game that was going back and forth. And like you said, he didn't have much experience at all until he came into that game. Now this year, because of the injury earlier this year to Cam, he in fact had a start against Washington State. So he does have a lot more experience coming in this year. You see the numbers, and incidentally, while we were showing you all that did get waved off, right, Chris?
It's an incompletion, yeah, 2nd and 10. So more prepared, but very few meaningful snaps. There's a high one that he has to go out of the air and stab, and he hands the ball to Jackson, who makes it a 3rd down and reasonable here. They'll need about 4.5.
Watch the snap here, and watch Logan Kendall, by the way, coming in motion and take the guy off the edge here. Great job of going airborne. Look out, 56. Here comes a big man. Bang! But Logan Kendall has been everywhere. You need a block? If I'm running the ball, I'd get right behind 32. He's got to take somebody out.
Transfer from Idaho, 263 pounds worth of tight end.
Potatoes. He's playing like
he shifts over to the right here. Bernard is the back on 3rd and 4. Play clock at 2. And backpedaling, Barnes delivers the ball, and it's caught for a first down by Bernard. They do move the sticks.
Great recognition there. They're testing him. See if he can pick up, keep his eyes on this defense. Here comes the pressure. When he sees that blitz, gets the ball right out to his back. The back has the option there to either pick that blitz up or just slip right by it. He slips by it on the same page with the backup quarterback. You could tell he's very well prepared by Andy Ludwig in this offense.
Comes from tiny Milford, Utah. Rising is out of the tent and walking behind the bench there. Keeper Barnes takes a hard hit and he's knocked down. Holly?
Well, guys, Cam Rising leaving that tent, as you can see, but he has played with 2 different knee braces at times this year. I saw them take a bigger knee brace in there, but I don't know that they're going to be able to put that on him. It looks like they're going to the locker room right now with Cam Rising. He has been able to play with a bigger support, but they're going right to the locker room.
So Barnes take a big hit. Behind him is a true freshman, Nate Johnson, who's thrown and completed 1 pass this year in 4 games of action. 2nd and 5. Another high snap, pulls it down and lofts it downfield. Bailey, and it's intercepted. Lofted it up there, and Jair Brown makes the pick, the 2nd of the day for the Lions. And the inexperienced quarterback pressing just a bit, Kirk.
Yeah, goes after Johnny Dixon into the boundary with a taller receiver at 6'5". It's not just about this matchup, it's about where the safety is. Look at the safety, close to being a half-field safety, and he puts air under it. You put air under it, very easy for the veteran Tick Brown to come over and make that easy interception. So not seeing the depth of the safety or where he is aligned pre-snap, floats it into the air, and that's the lack of experience with Cam Rising now headed into the locker room for the backup quarterback.
Took a look over the shoulder at the screen to see what had happened. So Penn State set up at the 42, trying to add to their lead off the 2nd takeaway of the afternoon. Clifford has to elude pressure, and he'll dive forward for a 3-yard gain. Connor O'Toole got him down.
Biggest problem this offensive line has had with a couple backup tackles in is the communication when there's movement of any kind up front. You get linebackers on kind of a delayed pressure, forces that offensive line to have to communicate, make sure everybody's on the same page, and we've seen Utah be able to free people up that way with late blitzes and also twists up front with those defensive linemen.
Late rain beginning to fall here in Pasadena. There's always the potential for that in the forecast about this time. Hand off. And short gain. So we better set up 3rd and long here. Utes, they trademark pink light in the San Gabriel Mountains at sunset. We'll have to live with that.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. We're just so used to seeing that. This is a big 3rd down for this Utah defense. After the turnover, can they get a stop? They get Penn State and Clifford off the field. Empty, probably bring the back in, I would think.
Utes are
There he comes.
prone to show pressure, and there comes Allen back in. They've done this throughout the game. A couple of freshmen having to make smart choices and physical blocks to protect the quarterback. Clifford steps up here and delivers across the middle, and it's dropped in and out of the hands of Wallace. And that is a crucial drop in what you called a big play. It's 4th down.
Yeah, Parker Washington obviously hurt, not able to play. Their leading receiver. We knew Harrison Wallace would have to step up. They actually do a nice job here of clearing out this defense. Opens it up nicely. They use Tinsley to clear it out so they can go underneath. There's 5 who cleared it, opened it up perfectly. A great throw by Clifford right into the hole, and Wallace just unable to hold on to it there. So the Utes catch a break, get off the field.
James Franklin going to the lid over there with the rain falling. His punter, Barney Moore, drives Valet back with signals for a fair catch at the 11-yard line. So Penn State cannot cash in the takeaway, and the Utes with backup quarterback at the helm back to work. Transplanted here to the Rose Bowl to honor Ty Jordan, Aaron Lowe, 2 Utah players whose lives were taken in tragic circumstances a couple of years ago for the second consecutive season. Utah has dedicated this season to them. This, of course, being the 22 season. Those players both wore number 22 in their Ute careers. So Bryson Barnes' interception not costly as the Utes get the stop. Back to work with the rain falling, and you'd figure they want a future of the ground game if they possibly can here. Bernard picks up about 8. Holly?
Well, guys, really special that they have kept that moment of loudness alive for the Utah, but this is also very special. The Rose Bowl Stadium folks in their beautiful plaza have put permanent bricks in loving memory of Ty Jordan and in loving memory of Aaron Lowe, and they are going to be there forever. Their names are etched permanently here in this stadium now, and the Utes still keeping that memory alive. 22% every day, must be better. They have honored those young men's memory completely this season.
Some wonderful gesture by the Rose Bowl, and breaking free is LaQuindon Jackson. And he's going to be dragged down at midfield by Keaton Ellis, but that ground game is churning now.
Yeah, you put 8 people up at the line of scrimmage because you're not fearing this quarterback right now in this running game, and you see broken tackles by the physical running of Jackson. That's what he is known for, and he's got some acceleration within him too. He ran right through the tackle of Eldson, and then another missed tackle, and there's the speed that we talked about.
Ellis made the tackle at the end, and he's being attended to. Was slow to get up.
And Manny Diaz right now is being ultra aggressive against his run game. That time it backfired.
Barnes slipped, tried to plant the back foot on this moist field. Now it slid out from under him, and that's a sack by Robinson and Tarburton combining there.
Yep, Tarburton's able to come in on one side, able to get some penetration. So I tell you, Chop Robinson just gets better and better. Their transfer from Maryland gives them good speed. They rotate a lot of different bodies. It's a young defense in a lot of areas. You know, you look at next year who they might have coming back, and you lose guys like Jair Brown, you lose P.J. Mustapher. There's a lot of young players to build around.
Barnes delivers. He's caught over the middle. Knocked down is Jalen Dixon, who hasn't really gotten loose for big plays so far. That's going to set up a 3rd and long.
Bit of a risky play call there by Andy Ludwig. Of course, on 1st and 10, you got to break up some tendencies. You can't run all the time, but by getting behind the chains with his backup quarterback puts a lot of pressure on the offensive line. There's Andy right in the middle there, one of the great offensive minds in college football.
Penn State fans making some noise for their defense. Penn State crowds the line, brings the pressure. Barnes is well protected, delivers a long throw to the sideline. Vele makes the grab but cannot escape the tackle of Kalen King, and it's 4th down and about 4.
Yeah, play man free that time. They spied with Abdul Carter. Leave your best corner out on an island. Pretty good job, Chris. You indicated it. Some pressure, but picked up, gives him enough time to at least execute and make the throw, and King makes sure to keep him short to the 1st down. Good job of being aware of where that 1st down marker is by King.
And with the backup quarterback in there, even in Penn State territory, Kyle Whittingham has the punt team out there trying to pin Penn State back, play field position.
Yep. Shows you the confidence he has in his defense.
Meester waits and then gets the punt away, and it's fair caught by the coverage team at the 5. He went down. He was bumped ever so slightly after he got the ball away and is rolling over. So he's in agony.
This would be great to see if he was touched. Let's see here. His foot was touched. Okay, Chris, I know you're a big World Cup guy here. I'm not trying to make light of an injury, but I didn't see anything at all except. But Bill, what do you have for us?
I have nothing on it. There was some contact. There was a touch, but that's not displacing the kicker. That was totally incidental. No foul.
Well, he's going to milk it. Apparently, he's going to be helped off. We hope he's certainly not injured. Utah crowd still can't believe there wasn't a penalty. You saw Kyle Whittingham pleading his case. Bills and Bengals coming up meanwhile. Rock, paper, scissors with the fans. I like that. Takes a very
he's always involved with the crowd, and Buffalo travels so well. I'm sure he's having some fun with the Bills fans. Get ready for Monday night following this game. Well, they did what they needed to do, whether he's hurt or not. I'm glad to see he's up and off the field okay, but he pinned him. He did his job. He's got him pinned at 6-yard line.
Third time Penn State's started to drive from inside their 10. The last time it was a big touchdown run by Singleton. This time it's Allen who has to work hard just to get about a yard on the sidelines. Vaki has been patrolling all over the place, the true freshman for the Utes.
Man, has had a good job of setting the edge right here. This ball bounces. They take it away on the play side, so he's trying to bounce it, get it up the back door, and this true freshman, Vaki, at 6 feet, 208 pounds, does a good job in coverage and a good job in run defense of setting that edge all night.
He's strong. He's made a couple tackles while laying on the ground just with arm strength.
Put a star next to him for the next few years. He is a superstar in the making as a true freshman.
2nd and 9, final 40 seconds of this third quarter. Allen runs hard but makes it only to the 11 before Connor O'Toole wrestles him down, and then figures to be the final play of the third quarter. Gloomy evening in Los Angeles. So Penn State with that long touchdown run by Singleton, the only points in the third quarter. 15 minutes to play in Rose Bowl 109, and Penn State has not surrendered a lead, and they've been on top after 3 quarters. See if that can continue. Final quarter coming up. Rain falling in Pasadena. You're watching the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN. Penn State reserving 7-point lead, facing a 3rd and 4. Rose Bowl has their Hall of Fame, and Darrell Dunn, an inductee, worked the Rose Bowl Stadium for 27 years, part of that crew. Utes crowd making some noise here.
Big play here, field position wise.
It's Johnson who motions in off the play fake. Launch downfield, has a man wide open. DeAndre Lambert-Smith. Penn State's second long-distance lightning strike, 88 yards. Big plays when backed up. That's been the story of the second half of this Penn State offense. This 87-yard run and now the 88-yard strike.
You knew they would try to take a shot at some point in the second half, and there it is. Double move. They scored on this play earlier on a slant. This time it's a slant and go.
Longest touchdown pass in Rose Bowl history. Nick Singleton's run was the 3rd longest run in Rose Bowl history for a touchdown.
Yeah, what a play. Well designed on 3rd down. Hubert, the safety, is going to be impacted here by the motion. See how he moves just by the tight end moving. It gets him to the half field. Now you've got that look that they went to a little bit earlier. Remember this play right here? They gave this look, try to get this safety up, and then they hit the slant. Well, this time, instead of the slant, it's a slant and go. The safety has his eyes on the quarterback and that little pump fake, out of position, and Clifford makes him pay for it with a good ball to Lambert-Smith for the touchdown. Little slant and go, and the safety's eyes in the backfield on the quarterback. He sells it with a pump fake, he bites on it, and he goes over the top. Look at this, right there.
Boy, Kirk, R.J. Hubert's had a tough half. He was the guy that was beaten on that long touchdown run when you pointed out he kind of got up in the wrong gap and beaten that time. And the man by far best equipped to lead Utah back remains in the locker room. Cam Rising's parents have joined him there. Our sports injury analyst, Marty Jaramillo, has been with us all year, phoning in to report that procedure would be you take him back there to x-ray to make sure there's no structural damage to the knee. It looked like he was walking okay when he went to the locker room, so we'll see if they can brace him up and get him back out here. If not, it's going to be up to Bryson Barnes to lead him what is now a 2-touchdown comeback. Taco Bell bringing the Liv Moss student section to the Rose Bowl game, picking up the tab for students from each school so that these passionate fans can enjoy the Rose Bowl.
And now a Utah team that likes to run the ball to set up play action, down by 14 in the fourth quarter with a backup quarterback. They've only thrown tonight for 115 yards, and now they get into obvious passing situations, which allows the Penn State pass rush to come after them.
Quarterback keeper, and the Lions are all over it. Slamming him to the ground is Adese Isaac.
He's had a great night. Both he and Abdul Carter have been all over the field. Watch him here at the top. 20 comes down and is able to get outside, and Carter also flying around, man. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They should.
A lot of confidence, a lot of edge. That was an aggressive tackle.
A lot of speed, too.
Uncomfortable to be behind the 6 on second down. Barnes on the move, delivers a low throw and incomplete. Couldn't get it to Yasmin, and it's 3rd and 13.
A lot of different coverages, a lot of different movements, trying to make this quarterback without a ton of experience, and Barnes have to think after the snap. That time Jonathan Sutherland really confusing him, made him hold the ball, and that's why he ended up rolling to his right, trying to find an open target.
Pressed into duty, down by 2 scores. Aggressive defense. Will Manny Diaz come after Barnes here, or play back? Now they bring pressure. Barnes swarmed and sacked. They're breathing fire now, this Lions defense.
Yeah, they sure are. They bring pressure from out here. Really, they come from everywhere. I mean, this is what you said. Should they sit back or come after? This is Manny Diaz, right? You know what he's going to do with a quarterback that hasn't seen a lot of looks other than in practice. The 1 start at Washington State. I mean, that is what you do. You bring pressure on 3rd down and you get him off the field. That's what they do.
So the Utes defense going to have to get a stop here. Tinsley back to receive the punt. Bowminster puts it very high and short, and it's going to bounce backwards. Did it touch a Lion? He's fallen on there by Sutherland, and he did keep the football, and Penn State begins in Pluff's territory. Apparently he was okay. That wasn't a very good punt, but
he's okay. He's back.
Here they're beginning to enjoy the party. Up 14, trying to add to it from great field position. They're still singing. Penn State's 2 touchdown plays came on 3rd down. It's quite remarkable against a very good defense on 3rd down, Kirk. 280. The Penn State's 384 yards have come on 3rd downs, mainly those 2 long strikes on after getting pinned back inside their 10.
Yeah, and one of them on the ground, one of them through the air. One of them where they use where they just get physical to line of scrimmage and get Utah out of position, and the other one on a slant and go.
2 3-play drives of 95 and 94 yards, the difference in this Rose Bowl so far. Clifford launching downfield, has a man wide open, and it's Wallace. And once again, R.J. Hubert is the closest Utes.
What happens here? I'm trying to figure out. Just confusion there with Vaughn. He definitely has his eyes in the wrong spot. Not sure he's on the same page. Just lets him get downfield, Wallace downfield, without putting any hands on him at all. I just think he had the wrong look right there with his eyes in the backfield. Just kind of in no man's land, and a good job of recognition by Clifford.
Utes defense known for being ultra aggressive and very effective, looking very ragged here in the second half, and Clifford all kinds of time, delivers a long throw, and it's Tinsley working down to the 10-yard line. Penn State trying to drop the hammer here.
Yeah, I think Sean Clifford in his passing game starting to really feel it. Time to throw. Clifford, the veteran, dicing up this secondary. This time going after Broughton, who I thought they would try to go after. He's in for Clark Phillips, who's one of the top corners in the country, not playing in his game. I thought Ford would be the target, but it's been really a mix. They've gone after Vaughn on one side the previous play. This time they come back, go after Broughton.
Receivers stacked to the left. Singleton is the back. And quarterback keeps it. Clifford makes a cut. Knocked down at the 1-yard line. Took a big shot, but threw his body on the line trying to get to the end zone.
Yeah, he's actually, instead of reading this side, he's reading the other side. And if his back had leverage, he would have handed it off. Instead, he pulls it. And what a night Sean Clifford is having, man. He has been a quarterback that from time to time has been questioned throughout his career, but reminding Penn State fans what a send-off potentially here with a game he's played.
His toughness, however, never questioned. No T formation. They scored on this earlier. Tight end between the two freshman backs. Allen fights into the end zone, and Penn State is in charge in Pasadena. There's a flag pre-snap. Let's see. I don't see a flag. I believe it's Utah trying to get a guy off the field. Wasn't able to, and the touchdown will stand.
Touchdown.
So this time they use great field position to march it 47 yards in 5 plays.
And then it's a lot of humanity
behind that. Scruggs there.
Scruggs feeling good. Left side that time. Norzad, Shelton. You mentioned a T formation.
It's produced a couple of short touchdown runs, hasn't it? Old school football. Mike Yurcich, very creative. Combination of physical running and big plays.
What's great about it is the way Singleton and Allen are willing to block. You don't know if they're going to go to the right or go to the left. This time, Singleton blocks and Allen gets it in for the touchdown.
Lion there doing some left arm one-handed push-ups. It's good work.
He may not be done either.
In the meantime, the other subplot on the Utah sideline, it's just so disappointing as a fan of the sport, someone who appreciates the grit and the toughness of Cam Rising, that for a second consecutive Rose Bowl, he may not be able to finish. He was a left knee that's being examined. He's still in the locker room. Of course, knocked out with a head injury a year ago in that loss to Ohio State. Ali?
Well, guys, Sean Clifford, who has been at Penn State for 6 years, he had to wait his turn to be the quarterback, and he knew that tonight would be emotional, his final college game. But he said, you know what, I set an intention before this game that I would wait. I wasn't going to feel all the things. I wasn't going to let that impact my performance. He said, I did text back and forth with Cam Rising about watching C.J. Stroud and Stetson Bennett leave it all out on the field in that game a couple of nights ago, and he said, that's what I want from my team. And Sean Clifford doing Penn State proud tonight. What a great performance for this young man.
That's a great point, Holly. And meanwhile, trying to find things going on the ground. A flag is out behind the play as Jackson is knocked down. You know, Clifford told us he was kind of proud as a quarterback, and he knows both Stetson Bennett
holding
and
number
C.J.
32.
Stroud.
Offense, 10-yard penalty.
It's a hold, back him up 10 yards. He was just proud to watch that duel unfold, and you know, he knows C.J. well. Didn't want to text him after the game because he knew he'd be disappointed, but he just appreciated the show like we did.
Yeah, we had a chance to sit down with him yesterday. He just had the calmness of a guy that's been around for a long time and had plenty of highs and some lows, and has grown and learned and become a veteran guy. And he wanted this more than anybody. He wanted to win this game and be remembered for being one of the better quarterbacks that Penn State's had.
It's tougher and tougher for Barnes. 1st and 20 after the penalty, and then just run it to Quinton Jackson. Cam Rising's injury obviously has been a focal point in the second half. Penn State's big play dominance has been part of that too. Since he went down, yards are 145 to 56. Penn State has 240 total yards in the half.
Yeah, and the field from that injury is it's just beginning to tilt more and more in favor of Penn State and their defense. After that holding call, they get this offense behind the sticks, which has been kind of a reoccurring theme since Rising has been out.
Heavy pressure has been a reoccurring theme. This time they rush 4, but Barnes is flushed, backpedals, and delivers incomplete. Would have been short of the first half anyway. Pressured by Sutherland, and it's going to be 3rd and 19. Kyle has the look of a guy that sees it slipping away. He'll be skiing anyway tomorrow. He'll head back home. There's been good snowfall in Utah. He's an expert, like double black diamond skier.
Yeah, I told him I go up there from time to time with my family, and he said, you got to go to the double blacks. And I said, well, I'm not looking for the double blacks. I said, we're going to drop you out of a helicopter into the type of snow you do.
He's 63. He's inspiring. It's sickening how good he is in tennis and golf, skiing.
Yeah.
Barnes will be dragged down inside the 5. Jair Brown's got him, and Penn State is flexing. What a performance in the second half by this defense, regardless who the quarterback's in.
How about Tick Brown coming down late right here, and then watch this move right here. Underneath, just so quick. Big offensive tackle trying to be able to deal with a blitzing safety. Loses his footing with an outside move and then back underneath. Another veteran that was looking us right in the eye and talking about how important this game was to him. Yesterday we had a chance to sit down and talk with him. An impressive young man.
Another guy who was an unheralded recruit, not a bunch of stars attached to his name. He's going to finish up going to the Senior Bowl. A lot of what's right about the sport. Tinsley backpedals, fields the punt at the 50, and runs to the sideline for a 2-yard return. So Penn State closing in on the program's second ever Rose Bowl victory.
Ethieu, who is a great player in his own right, had an injury himself. They lost him earlier this year.
So disappointing in back-to-back Rose Bowl games. Cam Rising playing well but unable to finish. And now Penn State trying to finish the Utes off. Clifford on the keeper will be trapped behind the line of scrimmage there, sacked by Diabate. There's a guy again that began at Texas, comes to Utah, suffered a really disappointing injury at the beginning of the 20 season. Solid last couple of years, but too much deja vu for our liking as he once again gets injured in a Rose Bowl game and apparently will come up short for a second time.
But just one of the Utah fan base's favorite players of all time. Just a great leader, tremendous character, one of the toughest guys you'll ever see.
He does have another year of eligibility.
Sure does.
It's unclear at this time whether or not he might use that and whether what happened today would influence that decision.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot to do with where this team could be next year. There's a lot of pieces coming back, and if he ultimately decides to come back for one more year, they could be right back in the same position of chasing down a Pac-12 championship and competing with some of the top teams in the country.
Meanwhile, Sean Clifford, who arrived at Penn State back in 2018, 7.5 minutes away from punctuating his career with a victory that would leave him very emotional. He keeps his emotions in check. He was very purposeful, level-headed, wanted to play the game that way. But this would mean a tremendous amount to cap off his career with Penn State's second ever Rose Bowl, and he's on the move. Clifford will avoid the tackle and duck down at the 43. Diabate was in the area, so it's 4th down.
Well, look who he's looking to the top, his younger brother, 82. He wants to throw the ball so badly, but he's taken away, so at least he's able to improvise and get positive yards. Liam Clifford is a young freshman receiver, again, out of the same high school at St. Xavier in Cincinnati. You see the smile, man. He wanted to dial up 82 in the worst way.
They did connect in a touchdown pass earlier. It's the first year they've been able to play really on the same team. Right?
Ever.
Yeah.
But this setting, he said, man, his last game, he wanted to get the ball to him. He looked him up there.
Well, there's still time. And the bounce down at the 1. Did they down it?
Big fella showing some athleticism.
Chris Stoll, the long snapper, hustling down there, and they're talking about it.
What's that all about? That was beautiful.
Great play by Stoll, who was the long snapper of the year, handling the ball at the 1. So really difficult for Barnes and the Utah offense now. Deep handoff. Jackson fights for a couple of yards.
Looked like Katzer, 45, almost got penetration. Had a chance to make a play in the end zone. Jackson lucky he's lost his balance. Penn State, man, they're not. I don't think they're looking at the scoreboard. They're still swinging down there.
Jump it up into the gaps, showing heavy pressure. They bring the blitz against the run, and not much for Jackson. Holly?
Well, guys, I don't have the severity of the injury for Cam Rising, but what I can tell you is that underneath his black sweatpants, he is wearing a very heavy brace on that left knee. He's come out, he's walking well, moving well, and he's smiling, talking to his guys, trying to be encouraging. But I haven't been able to catch if he's told people if he's okay or not. He's just trying to let them focus on the game and keep their focus on what's ahead of them right now. But I can see a very heavy brace under those pants.
And this guy Keefe there, his season cut short in game 4. 3rd and 5. Throw on the edge, and Dixon able to move ahead, and they do get a first down at the 12-yard line.
Well, that's a good way to respond to pressure. Even though they only rush 3 and drop 8, just get the ball out of the hands quickly and give yourself a chance. It's pressure, and the fact they don't have to worry about that run game. They're able to just get after these offensive linemen.
It was a low throw. Bailey couldn't come up with it. January 2, Dayton history has been pretty kind to Penn State. They defeated Miami down in the Fiesta Bowl. 86 national championship. That stunner against the Hurricanes came on this date. And their only other Rose Bowl victory until today's apparent one was on Jan 2 of 95. That great 94 Penn State team beat the Ducks here. Keyshawn Carter was the MVP.
Yeah.
Kerry Collins.
Was it the first play of the game he got out in the open? I mean, it was early. I remember him scoring along with.
So a date that has been very noteworthy in Penn State history is about to get more so with the program's 2nd ever Rose Bowl victory. And how satisfying, Kirk, for these Penn State veterans who still think about the nightmare of 2020, the COVID season. It was a debacle for the program. Coming into this year, just 11 and 11 the last 2 seasons combined.
Yep.
Barnes delivers down the middle, and here comes a flag very late. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. Keaton Ellis was there in coverage.
Yeah, Ellis got there a little early. Yeah, what a great legacy for these seniors to leave behind with a win tonight. They've got a chance to finish up in the top 7, maybe in the country, with 11 wins. Only losses to Ohio State and Michigan.
Pass interference, number 2. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And there are a lot of guys coming back from this team next year. James Franklin is recruited well for next year's class already. Good nucleus of young players coming back. And while Clifford moves on after a storied career, Drew Aller, who is a superstar, true freshman, there are a lot of people excited about what he'll be able to do next year, as you would assume, taking over as the guy at quarterback.
And that's Jackson. He certainly looks the part, and what he's shown in his opportunities, which have been mostly in mop-up situations, been very promising. But in the meantime, this afternoon belongs to the veteran Clifford. Barnes hits outside the pocket and just throws it away. This Penn State defense shutting out the Utes in the second half. Manny Diaz changed tactics, a lot more pressure, more blitzing, much more aggressive approach in the second half. And then the big play strikes at Penn State. They've never had in their history a better big play offensive performance than this one. Never had 2 touchdown plays of 85+ yards in the same game until this one.
Yeah, save it for the right time.
Yeah.
Right.
Need 2 on this 3rd down. Pressure again, picked up. Ball in and out of the hands, almost picked off by Kobe King. Linebacker slid in there and had his hand on it.
And it's another young linebacker between Abdul Carter and Kobe King. You know, his twin brother is Kalen King, 4, who we've been talking a lot about. Does a good job of reading the eyes of the quarterback, puts himself right there for a chance. I think he started thinking about what he was going to do with the ball after he intercepted that instead of catching it.
He's still mad. I had a pick 6 lined up.
The Rose Bowl.
Horizon trying to make the best of it here. But this one stings. Don't let the smile fool you. 4th and 2. And the Lions are going to swarm him and take over on downs. Vanover made the stop. What a performance by this defense in the second half. I know that for a lot of it, Rison wasn't in there, but they made it hard on whoever was playing quarterback for Utah.
Yeah, Manny Diaz has rotated a lot of people in and out of this lineup throughout the entire game, but especially once they built this lead up, and there has not been any drop off at all.
Less than 15 from kick over on ABC. Stephon Diggs has 11 touchdown receptions on Monday night alone.
But it's a lot. So much talk about Burrow and Josh Allen. How about you just saw Diggs, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, the firepower in that game. Talking about must-see TV. Bills Bengals will be a good one.
We'll have a little post-game beverage and enjoy that one, won't we?
I'll be there.
The handoff inside to Tank Smith, getting a chance for a rep with Singleton and Allen apparently done for the day. Ram Trucks post-game is coming up here on ESPN, the trophy presentation. Here from James Franklin. Sean Clifford figures to be the offensive MVP.
Big Tank. Love to see him get his hands on the ball. 5'7", 234. Big fella.
That dimensions you see every day.
No. Now they're trying to work clock. See James Franklin. Let's take it easy now. Let's take it easy here. Slow it down. He's got a lot of backups up. Here comes Sean Clifford, looks like.
Curtain call?
Well, he might, maybe the next play. Maybe he's going to do it now. Yep, here he comes. Waving
there it is,
fans. Yep.
A career that began with a touchdown on his first college pass back in 2018.
James Franklin's telling everybody to stay back. He wants Clifford to have a moment to be able to walk off by himself.
I mean, it was a brilliant start. It's a spectacular punctuation, ups and downs in between, and there's some emotion from Clifford. He's finally letting it out.
Cool moment. What a career for 14, man.
James Franklin made a joke when they showed that very first Rose Bowl, which involved Penn State. He had to be sure that Clifford wasn't involved in that game. He's been around at Penn State so long.
The parents are fired up.
Yeah, I met his parents when we had them at Columbus. He had back in his home state. Things never quite worked out against the Buckeyes, but what a football family.
Absolutely. There's the emotion, man.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
He told us he would.
Yep.
He kept it in check all season, really all game, but that is just a beautiful, beautiful expression of what it means to him.
That's what it's all about right there.
Capital One rewarding performance details what Clifford did. He was just sharp. He was excellent on third down. So precise. Avoided the mistakes that have plagued him occasionally in his career. Razor sharp.
Yeah, and I think it was his ability to read and recognize coverage gave him confidence on where to go with the ball. Yeah, he's done this so often throughout his career. When he is in that zone, he's accurate, in command, and provides incredible leadership. You can see the intangibles. I mean, they're in the guy on that sideline he hasn't hugged. Offense, defense. There's the guy, long snapper. He's giving him a hug.
This is Drew Aller. He's the next man, as you pointed out. Be high expectations for this Penn State team off of what they've seen at the end of the season. They'll get West Virginia in their opening game. Clifford to the next level. Kurt.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I think he'll have a great shot. He'll have an opportunity. I think he's going to the Hula Bowl to have a chance to do that. Told me he might have slipped out of the room. You didn't hear he's going to Iceland for a week before he heads to the Hula Bowl.
I approve.
I knew you would. I forgot to mention
it's a great plan.
But yeah, just I'm sure these last 5 or 6 years just flashing through his mind right now. There's another. Seems like there's PJ Mustafa for another vet. They've been together. See the emotions again from both those guys.
Mustafa's been there forever. Clifford's been there a year longer than that. So forever plus 1 year.
That's right.
And keep it on the ground. There's your guy Tank on third down. So time ticking away here, and the countdown for Josh Allen and the Bills getting his guys fired up.
At 17, he looks like they of course want to win the game, But make no mistake, two of the faces of each franchise, quarterbacks going head to head. And of course, Clifford from Cincinnati. I'm sure he's a big Bengals fan. Not right now. It's all about the brotherhood and the love that he has for his teammates. Who you got? Bengals, Bills. What do you think?
I'll go Bills because you want Bengals. We're just balance it
I
out.
think I love the Bills actually, but I do live in Cincinnati and love to see the Bengals do well. I'm going to go with Burrow at home. It's a tough place to play.
Aller on fourth down, just lost to the end zone, and it's incomplete. They gave the young guy a chance to try to throw a touchdown pass in the Rose Bowl. So the two losses to Michigan, big, and Ohio State at home, closer game. They actually had the lead in the fourth quarter of that game before the Buckeyes rallied. And Penn State does their job here and punctuates their season with the program's second ever Rose Bowl victory.
Looks like the boys are putting together a plan there with the Gatorade.
Well, the chemistry on this team has been special, and all the veterans we talked to pointed out that it starts with James Franklin, how much he cares about them as people.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I asked all three of the captains, what makes you guys get excited about playing in this game? And they talked about their love for their coaches. It starts with James Franklin all the way down to the assistants. And it was an interesting kind of a mature answer. It was, putting the rose petals.
Rose petals souvenirs.
He's like,
nowhere else to put it there.
Yeah, that's a great memory right there. But he said how much they invest in the film study and prep and all that, and how much they care about us as people. They said it's the least we can do.
Clifford is used to orchestrating things. Apparently he's got a plan here. He met hit for the head coach with those rose petals.
Are you going to dump him with rose petals?
Yeah, that's better than Gatorade.
James will like that a lot better.
There's a play made downfield by Vele, and here we go. Sneaking up, sneaking around. He needs a block. He needs to screen the coach. Still scanning the field. There he is.
Went flat bill tonight, huh?
After it started to rain.
Yeah.
Adjustments. For the first time tonight, Clifford can't find a man.
Yeah, well,
he can't find anybody.
So much for the plan.
Well, there's still a minute 42 to go. Utah, by the way, still battling here. Quarterback going to be spun down, and that's another sack for Penn State. That's their 6th of the game. 5 of those in the second half. Didn't have any sacks until very late in the first half. Weren't pressuring Rising much at all.
It was the last play, I think, of the first half.
Barnes this time eludes pressure and dives forward. Some folks are still looking in to see if maybe Utah can reach the end zone. And
really?
Yeah. It's not over, and it's not over at the moment, but that could change down there at the 5-yard line. So inside of the final minute, Jalen Dixon gets it down there. And some of you are still attentive.
Yeah.
And Penn State will take a defensive timeout.
Charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Coach Franklin does not want to surrender a touchdown here late. And it's a good thing Clifford didn't dump the rose petals on him in the middle of this. Folks dressed in Penn State white, locked in place to celebrate every second of this. Goodyear providing the aerial coverage on this gloomy evening, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. I think he shook everybody's hand over there by now.
Yeah, I think he's hit them all.
Hugged everyone. Where's the rose petal bucket, though? He's put that down for the moment?
I think he's waiting until this drive's over. It's getting serious inside the 5, right at the 5. This is serious for a lot of people right now watching this.
Sanford Steve keeping us honest in that department?
Yes, he is.
Barnes back pedals. Rolls out and flips to the end zone and completes. Trying to get it to Dixon. salute the Utes here, back-to-back Pac-12 champions. We're a big target this year. You know, they won it last year, came so close in the Rose Bowl, and still people were looking everywhere else for Pac-12 champions coming into this season. I think they've proven to be a tough team to dethrone. That'll be a factor again next year.
Yeah, they should be. Tell you, Barnes has some quickness, doesn't he? I mean, keeping these plays alive against his pass rush.
Survival instinct.
Here they come.
Barnes against the blitz, gets cut in half, and that pass falls short. 3rd and goal now. Vandenberg in the heat. And we're closing in on kickoff again on ABC and ESPN2 and on ESPN when our broadcast is done here. Lots of chances to watch this massive showdown.
Bengals starting to play their best football at the right time, too. Bills have been pretty solid all year. These two quarterbacks, they may not talk about it publicly, but as competitors, they want to have bragging rights tonight and help their team win and try to continue to climb the ladder, like I said, for that top spot in the AFC.
Penn State bringing pressure again. The ball is out, and it's a touchdown. Jalen Dixon. And the Utes will leave here disappointed, but make some folks happy.
Yeah, you got
Not over, but it's over.
Yeah, now it's officially over, right? You got a young secondary in there. They gave him a formation Penn State didn't adjust to, and just got Dixon out in the flat. Nobody out there, and an easy throw for Barnes.
So a 78-yard drive in less than 2 minutes. Utah's first points since the second quarter.
They go with a condensed formation here, and you can see the safety, how deep he is. And just his eyes in the backfield, nobody out in the flat at all. They have 2 receivers on 1 defender. 12, Cam Miller, the freshman, but that's what these games are for. And young players get a chance to grow and learn from that when they go back and watch film.
Second straight year Barnes has come in after Rising's been knocked out and been able to throw a touchdown pass. Disappointment from Dixon, the senior from Texas.
Yeah, I think that's when it hits you, right, as a senior, is when you realize that it's over. You know, and this is the last time for a lot of these guys, last time they'll play a football game.
Correct.
And you know, you start to you miss your buddies. You know, you miss the camaraderie, you miss the bus rides, you miss the locker room, you miss walking to class, hanging out, just the stuff that has been such a big part of your life. It's not just about the money, or it's not just about advancing. There's so many of these guys will be done playing, and it's about just the love that they have for each other, and how that's over for the seniors.
There's the onside kick, and it's fielded. The Utes are offside anyway. That's beautifully put. There's going to be tears in both locker rooms. There's already been tears on both sidelines tonight for different reasons.
Offside,
can
number
only
81,
look
kicking team.
in street
That
clothes
penalty will be added to the end of the kick.
for a second
First
straight
down.
year at the Rose Bowl.
Well, we keep saying it, but both these teams, once you close this chapter and you move into 2023, both these teams are going to be right where they want to be in competing for their championships. You know, with the amount of players that they have returning, the transfer portal is still out there. I'm sure a few more guys will come in for both of these rosters. Who knows what Cam Rising is going to do with Utah. But this is a team that Penn State will feel really good about competing in the Big Ten East next year.
Now they're sneaking up on Franklin with that bucket of rose petals. You feel safe with 24 seconds that
now they got to hurry now.
be a willing participant.
Now they got to go tempo off it. Oh, that's Gatorade.
Oh, they got him pretty good. And Franklin tackling people. Now he's going to get mobbed with the rose petals. Bedlam breaking loose here in the field. Penn State prevails in Pasadena. The program's second Rose Bowl victory. 11-win season, and the Utes again fall short to the Big Ten. Mutual respect between these coaches.
I think James lost his glasses on that tackle. They're good to see them get together.
A lot of respect. They've texted this week. Clifford elated, emotional about the way his afternoon unfolded, but not because his buddy wasn't able to finish. ESPN News is the place for Penn State fans to watch the Rose Bowl trophy presentation shortly. It's Get a word from James Franklin with Holly.
Well, Coach, they were going to get you one way or the other. How are you trying to escape that right there?
Yeah, I'm just happy for our guys. To come out here and play that team, got so much respect for Utah and Coach Whittingham. Out here on the road, it was basically a home game for them. And our guys played their tails off. I'm just so proud of them, offense, defense, and special teams.
You guys turned up the pressure in the second half, regardless who was in at quarterback. How did that change the course of this game?
Yeah, you're exactly right. That was the difference in the second half. We were able to get pressure on the quarterback, which we weren't able to do through not only just 4 down, but also bringing pressure.
Sean Clifford, he's been such a stalwart for you. What did you say to him in that hug as he ends his career with a terrific performance?
I'm just happy for him. You know, he's kind of seen it all in his Penn State career. And at Penn State, it's important, not how we just do it on the football field, but in the classroom and in the community. And he's done it with utmost class the entire time. That's what college football is about. That's what Penn State's about.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Chris.
Ollie, thank you. That was a beautiful scene to see Sean Clifford. Just tears pouring forth in the sidelines after that victory. These veterans talked a lot about what it meant for them to play Penn State football and how low things were a couple of years ago. They came back last year. They wanted to bounce back strong, but it did not end the way they wanted it to. This year, obviously, a couple of losses in the conference. They thought they had a chance to get to the playoff, but this was a hell of a way to finish the season and a career for those guys at Penn State.
Yeah, this is a big goal of theirs. When they found out they were going to the Rose Bowl, there were a lot of people that said, how good is this Penn State team really? They played 2 ranked teams, lost to both of them, Michigan and Ohio State. How good are they? And I think they heard that message. They came into this game wanting to prove to everybody, including themselves, that they are a top 5 type of team. They went out today on a mission and played great football.
Yeah, you sometimes wonder if bowl games, even Rose Bowl games, mean as much as they used to in the playoff era when the focus obviously is on the 4-team bracket. But afternoons like this with 2 programs and the fan base coming in here to celebrate the tradition of this, it's a really good hard-fought football game.
Absolutely, and I bumping into a lot of Penn State and Utah fans. They are as fired up today as they would have been 10 years ago about being here and having a chance to take this spectacle in of a football game, and ended up being a great game. Penn State pulls away, especially once Cam ended up being hurt.
As a 28-zip run by Penn State to pull away. 35-21 is the final. For our producer, Bill Bonneau, Derek Mombley, our entire crew, always our honor and privilege to bring you the Rose Bowl game from Pasadena. It's Penn State heading home happy. Now, Monday Night Football. Let's go to Joe Buck, Troy Aikman in Cincinnati for the Bengals and the Bills.